Hello everyone, I'm Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of X-Men 97. So this is episode 9 of the series. We have one more left after this. Man, there are spoilers ahead, but realistically at this point, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry for you. So this starts off right where the last one ended, where we get to see Charles Xavier waking up in the X-Mansion, basically trying to put his team back together. They're trying to figure out what their plan is going to be going forward, and apparently they have two things that they have to do. They have to convince Magneto to turn off the EMP to stop planet Earth from being destroyed, and also figure out a way to stop the Prime Sentinels. So the idea would be they'd split up into two groups and figure out. One group will try to convince Magneto to basically turn the Earth back on, is the best way to describe that, and the other group will have to deal with the Prime Sentinels. The reason why I'm saying it this way is because at the time they do not know 100% that it's actually um, Bastion who is the main source of their power. Although we do get a little bit of a background on Bastion, and apparently during his time as a child, Charles Xavier went over to meet Bastion and his mother, and apparently he was turned away because she didn't think her son was a freak. Mostly due to the fact that Charles Xavier thought of him as a technopath, and now we realize that he's not technically a mutant. He is a human sentinel hybrid, aka Nimrod humanoid, is the best way to describe that one. So we have all that going on, right? We then have the group trying to put themselves back together. Storm comes back with Forge, and they're realizing kind of what's going on. We also find out from Forge that he has the ability to use technology that can stop or reduce Magneto's ability, specifically for the fact of his, oh my god, cybernetics limbs are able to still work even though there was the massive EMP that Magneto created. So during all this, they decide that they're going to split up and figure out what they need to do. During this time, Magneto comes down and basically offers them a chance that he will allow them to join him and protect mutant kind and leave this Earth the way it was. Now, Charles tries to convince him otherwise, but Magneto basically states that you were gone, Charles. I tried everything I could to make your dreams come true, and you should have seen Genosha. It was everything we ever dreamed about. But unfortunately, our dreams could not be. Well, your dream couldn't last forever. And Magneto is finally defeated, and he's asking anybody who wants to join him, stating that how many more of you want to die for humankind? And that's when Rogue um, joins Magneto, and so does Sunspot, which I find very interesting. They try to convince the two of them to stay. It doesn't work, and the three of them leave and explain to the X-Men that you will die along with the human race. And he leaves. So they decide that they're going to go to Muir Island, because the X Mansion is in shambles, and they're going to come up with a plan to actually stop it. So they turn into two. So they get there. They suit up into a more classic outfits. Is the I guess the best way to describe it. Um, and they divide up into two groups: blue team and gold team. Um, One is going up after Magneto, and the other group is going after Bastion because they realize he's the source of all their power. So the team against Bastion is Storm, Forge, Beast, Storm Form, Storm, Forge, Beast, Morph, Jean Grey, and Cable. And then for the other team, my apologies. And the other team has Charles Xavier, Cyclops, um, Wolverine, Cyclops, Professor X, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Jubilee, and I think that's it. I think that's actually it. I think that is it. So anyway, they're going to try to convince Magneto otherwise. So I'm going to split this up into two parts to make it easier. We'll talk about the Magneto group first. and you'll understand why. Actually, no, I'll talk about the Bastion group first. My apologies. So they land and they realize all these Sentinels are there, apparently because Bastion hooks himself up to what looks like a generator, possibly just the equipment itself, and gets the Sentinels working. So during that time, they begin to put themselves back together and start attacking the group. Storm and Forge work together to try to take out the Sentinels on the outside, while the rest of the group go down and attack on the ground. During this, we have Mr. Sinister attacking Jean Grey, trying to break her psychologically by stating that he knows where Madeline ends and Jean Grey begins, and he offers her the chance to learn what that is, and she says, "I don't really care." She goes, "Because I fight with Madeline today," and she begins to beat him down. During this, we have Beast, Morph, just Beast and Morph. Yeah. Beast and Morph destroying Sentinels like it's their job, because it kind of is. Because what they're using is they're going to use the Mutant Collar to shut off Bastion's abilities. That's their idea. So Beast slashes through Sentinels, which I thought was interesting to see. And then Morph transforms into the Hulk and smashes a bunch of Sentinels. So Jean Grey is kicking Mr. Sinister's butt, but then it turns out that Cable has the red little diamond on his head because he was created technically by none other than Mr. Sinister, is now being brainwashed to be controlled by none other than Mr. Sinister. So the two of them begin to fight. It's during this that Scott Summers is able to see it in a vision because he's psychologically linked, or mentally linked to Jean Grey, and realizes what's going on. And then Beast and Morph try to get the collar onto Bastion. Morph tries to do so by turning himself into Mr. Sinister and trying to convince him that he is Mr. Sinister. He gets blasted right away because Bastion states that there's no way Mr. Sinister would have come back here to warn me that they were here. He would have left and tried to figure out how to deal with himself. Beast comes in, tries to get himself through, and unfortunately gets himself captured, and none of them were able to put the collar on him. Jean Grey is in a lockdown match between her and Cable, and Storm and Forge were shot down out of the sky. That is their team. So then we get to the asteroid, where they land the jet inside. Rogue and Sunspot are there waiting for them. Rogue rips it open. They're not anywhere to be found. That's because Nightcrawler teleports them right to Magneto. And that's when they begin to fight themselves. The order is to remove Magneto's helmet so Charles Xavier could forcibly use Magneto's body and powers to turn off the EMP that he created. So they get the helmet off. It's a big fight between them all. Sunspot and Rogue come in. Rogue takes out Wolverine, and Jubilee and Sunspot begin to battle each other. So the helmet is able to come off. Charles Xavier, sorry, begins to basically psychologically take over Magneto's body, telepathically. Sorry. And Scott realizes that the team on the ground needs more time to shut off the Prime Sentinels, so he actually blasts Charles Xavier with his optic blast to stop him because the other team needs more time. That's when Magneto throws his magnetism all over the place and captures everyone except for Wolverine. Puts Charles Xavier in a massive metal death trap, which sounds like it's crushing him from the inside. And then that's when Wolverine stabs Magneto right through the back. Magneto is furious, moves Wolverine away, and then rips out his adamantium bones, or the adamantium covering his bones. It removed that and caused him to apparently have the liquid metal come out of him. And that was how the episode ended. So it was very graphic. A lot of things happened. I don't even know what's going to happen in this last episode. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And get yourselves ready because this week is going to be the season finale of X-Men 97. I'm very much looking forward to it. So if you made it this far, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. And as always, this is Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.